It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Jen Cohen as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it's great to have you in studio today. It's been a few years, but we thought we'd bring everybody up to speed on the Patriot Guard Riders. You hear us talk about it on the news all the time. You may even hear us just say PGR. The PGR is what we've kind of gotten used to calling it. John Moffitt's back in studio. Welcome back, John.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
He is the Patriot Guard Riders Assistant State Captain. It's quite a title. Their website is azpgr.org. azpgr.org. You've heard a lot in the news. I think it was last time you were here, John. You sat down, and after we got done with the show, I said, I want you to start sending me these press releases so that anytime you need volunteers for a flag line, is what they hear on the stories, we'll broadcast that and see if anybody local that wants to come out and help out with the
We
PGR.
appreciate the help we get from your station. It's really great.
Good, good. I hope it does help, and that's why we did that at the beginning. I thought this was pretty important to get the word out about these and show our respects to our heroes that have passed. Let's start at the beginning, because some folks here don't know what Patriot Guard Riders are. You know, Yavapai County is growing like crazy, like a weed. So take us back a little bit in history. What is the Patriot Guard Riders?
Okay, in August 2005, there were a lot of protests at funerals of troops that were killed in Afghanistan and Iraq in the War on Terror. And there was a group out of the Midwest that was going to the funerals and protesting at the funerals. And they were holding up signs, "We're glad you're dead, God's punishing you," and things like that. So in August of 2005, the American Legion Riders, in fact, in Kansas, started the Patriot Guard Riders. And what they do, the original purpose was to shield the families of fallen soldiers from these protesters.
Okay.
Since then, it's morphed into, the protesters are pretty much gone now. You have to excuse me, so I'm getting over a cold.
Yeah, that's okay, no problem.
But the protesters are, for the most part, gone. And now what we do is we do flag lines and escorts for first responders, for active duty troops, for veterans, if we're invited by the families. And we do it as a sign of respect to thank them for their service to our country.
Okay, so it's been going on since 2005. So you guys have got, wow, okay, quite a few years under your belts already. Okay. Do we know how many chapters there are across America?
Every state has an organization.
Okay, so every state in the country has a PGR.
Yes.
Okay. And now let me ask you this: are there different branches of the PGR in each state? Like in Arizona, you're obviously a member of the PGR. Is there more than one division of the PGR in the state?
No, the PGR has a state captain.
Okay.
Who's in charge of that state. And then depending upon the size of the state, like in Arizona, because we're so big, we have an assistant state captain for southern Arizona. We have an assistant state captain in the Colorado River communities, assistant state captain for northern Arizona, which is me, an assistant state captain for Kingman.
Okay, okay, all right. So you all report to the
just
captain.
because of the size,
right?
We break it down.
Boy, California's got to have a ton.
I assume they do.
I would imagine so. Okay, all right. So we've got the one chapter in the state. Who makes up the PGR? Let's go there. Well, who makes up the PGR?
Anyone can participate. If they go on our website and sign up, they'll be notified of missions in Arizona. And you don't have to ride a motorcycle. You don't have to be a veteran. You just have to want to be on flag lines and to honor veterans. Okay. And first responders, because now we do first responders too.
Oh, I wanted to get in that too after the first break, but yeah, it's not just military; it's also first responders. Yes. So we'll talk about that too. So anybody can be a PGR member. How did you get involved?
There were no dues.
What hit John Moffitt and said, "Hey, you need to be a PGR member"?
Back when I was working, before I retired.
Oh, I remember those days when you worked.
The old days.
Yes, yes.
And because I ride a motorcycle, there was a PGR mission, and it's primarily motorcycles, but other people do come. And I thought, oh, this would be a nice motorcycle ride to go on, and I went to a mission, and I just got hooked.
That's it?
Yep.
That's it? And you signed up?
Signed up, went to as many as I could when I was working, and then when I retired, takes pretty much all my time now. That and the American Legion Riders.
Okay, I imagine you guys probably have meetings and stuff that you have to set up. And
No.
you attend? No.
Leadership does.
Well, your leadership, so I imagine you have to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But members don't have meetings to go to.
Okay. Is there a requirement as to how often I need to be, or anything else? Or are there dues or anything like that?
No dues, no meetings.
No.
No dress code. Well, you got to wear clothes, but
Yeah, right.
but no, it's a very loose knit organization. Consists totally of volunteers. Both leadership as well as the members don't pay dues, but we don't get paid either, so we don't have to raise money for that. If we do get donations, we use that to replace our flags and to replace material that we use in missions, but none of us get paid or reimbursed for our time.
What's the main mission of the PGR? Again, I know you've already said a little bit about it.
The main mission now.
The main mission. What is it? I mean, it's a great organization. It's really nice that it came up, and there's no dues. All you got to do is sign up and be serious about wanting to go and help. You don't have to show up and help if you don't want to, but it'd be nice if you did. But what is the main mission of the PGR?
The main mission now is to honor fallen veterans or active duty troops or first responders. We don't go and have a flag line or show up at a funeral unless the family invites us, which differentiates us from the protesters back from '05.
Okay.
When protesters just show up at a funeral. We don't go to a funeral unless the family invites us.
Okay. And that happened, I got to say, last year I was getting at least one a week, one every other week from you, asking for volunteers to come out and do flag lines. It seemed like it was a busy year last year, unfortunately.
Last year was pretty busy. During the holiday season, amazingly enough, there were a lot. We did a lot between Thanksgiving and New Year's Day.
That's too bad.
Most of them, though, were in the Phoenix area.
Okay.
We haven't done too many in Cottonwood or the Verde Valley, since like late summer.
Okay. So Verde Valley, you'd like to hear from the Verde Valley a little bit more?
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. Okay. And this is how we get the word out about that. So you're looking for folks from the Verde Valley. Let's talk about the Shield. You said the Shield services aren't really something you need anymore. The protesting is gone.
Right.
Seems gone. Have you run into that ever in your time as a PGR member?
When
and how'd that
when the
affect you?
Hotshots, when the Granite Mountain Hotshots died, we had 3 PGR missions in that 10-day period after they died for different services that were put on for the Hotshots. And were requested by the Prescott Fire Department to have flag lines out there. At two of the 3 services, the rumor was that this protest group from Kansas was going to be there. At one point, we had, I think, 200 people show up for the flag line.
Wow.
And they didn't show up.
They didn't show up. But if they had, there's the Shield.
Yeah.
That's really great.
And we can't do anything violent. We can't get in their face. All we do is just form a barrier between them and the family.
What else do you need, right?
Yeah.
That's good. All right, we'll take a break, okay? And then we'll let folks know how to get a hold of you personally, okay, as well. But right now the website is azpgr.org. Folks can find out all kinds of information about the group on azpgr.org, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Patriot Guard Riders Assistant State Captain John Moffitt in studio today. Stick around, Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
How I define making? In the broadest possible terms, it is making something extant in the world that didn't exist. Everybody who's ever made anything is bringing something into fruition for a reason, and that act in and of itself makes us stewards of our culture. It's something that we're talking about. It's a response. Actually, it's telling a story. That's really what it is. And I include everything that could be made: painting, sculpture, welding, all of that.
Yellow is positive.
When a kid gets their hands on the world and learns that they can make their fantasy play, that they can make their reality, that's power. And as far as I'm concerned, everyone should feel that kind of power. There we go. If there's something that interests you to bring into the world, that's fantastic. Go figure out how to do it. Go tell your own story. There it is. And so I want to know why you make. Let's go.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
150 over 90.
180 over 111.
160 over 110. I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure looks like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from invisible or silent. If you've come off your treatment plan, get back on it, or talk with your doctor to create an exercise, diet, and medication plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're sitting down with Patriot Guard Riders Assistant State Captain John Moffitt. Their website is azpgr.org. That's real simple, azpgr.org. And then you said if people want to get a hold of you personally, they can go to prescottbikers@hotmail.com.
Right.
prescottbikers@hotmail.com, and that's your email.
Yes.
They could speak to you directly.
And they can get a hold of me through that, either to sign up for the PGR. I maintain a separate list of Northern Arizona PGR members.
Okay.
Because a lot of times we'll have last-minute changes that we don't have time to go through national to get out the word.
Okay.
On a mission. Or if they have a family member that dies, that's the
next thing I was going to ask you. So if I have a veteran in my family that passes away,
or a first responder,
what do I do to
just send me an email and we'll get the ball rolling.
Okay, is this something we can do through the AZPGR website as well?
Yeah, but it's quicker. If you go through the AZPGR website, it goes out to all the assistant state captains.
Okay, and then they have to then you guys decide, okay, well, no, that one's down there, that one's over here.
And it speeds up the process if they for Northern Arizona, if they contact me directly.
Okay, all right, because you guys had quite a few missions in the Prescott area, I want to say, last year. I heard about, like I said, I think in the first part of the show, either once or twice a week sometimes, maybe even more, that was going on. But yeah, you don't hear many in the Verde Valley. You don't really hear too many in the Verde Valley. So if you're in the Verde Valley and you need that help, prescottbikers@hotmail.com.
And we don't charge for our services.
Right.
We don't charge for the flag line. If we do an escort, we don't charge for the escort.
What are you doing there when you're staying there? Because the shield isn't really necessary anymore. I mean, it's there if it needs to be, the whole shield idea. But what exactly are you doing while you're staying there and the services are taking place?
We have a flag line, and it depends where the location is. But the flag line is set up usually in front of the church or from the mortuary, wherever the memorial service is. So when the family enters and the friends enter into the service, they go through a flag line of American flags that we have.
To
honor the deceased.
Right, okay, all right. So you're just, and then I noticed that on the press releases that you send, you ask the folks if they're going to volunteer for the flag line to be there like 15 minutes, 30 minutes ahead of time?
Usually 30 to 45 minutes before the service starts, because then we have a briefing about a half hour before the service starts, and the flag line is usually 15 minutes before the service starts.
How many people usually have?
We've had as few as a dozen and as many as, well, with the Granite Mountain Hotshots, we had about 200.
Yeah.
That was a little unique.
Right.
But generally we have anywhere from a dozen to maybe 30 to 40.
Okay. You got volunteers showing up?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay. All right, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear you got volunteers that show up. How many volunteers have you had show up that wind up becoming members of the PGR? Because I think a lot of people think, looking at you right now, I'd think, well, I don't ride a motorcycle because I would kill myself if I did. And I don't have any of the gear that you have right now for a motorcycle. But again, you mentioned at the beginning of the show, it's not about the motorcycle.
Right. It's not about what you wear either.
Yeah, I could show up in my truck.
Right.
And do it too. It's just a matter of showing that honor to the veteran.
And we do have a lot of people that show up in trucks, cars. not golf carts, but you could take your golf cart if you want.
Yeah. So it really is. It's open to everybody.
Yes.
If you want to show your respects, this is a great way to do it. You do group honors. Now, I've seen those too, and I've not written up too many of the group honor stories because I need to know more. What is exactly group honors?
Okay, group honors take place once a month at the Prescott National Cemetery.
Okay.
And it's generally the second Wednesday of the month.
Okay. And there's not one in January. I know you sent out a release that said, okay, there's not one in January.
And group honors are for the people that were interred at the Prescott National Cemetery the previous month that didn't get military honors.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, there are instances anywhere from 3 to sometimes a dozen that are interred at Prescott National Cemetery that don't receive military honors. And that's the folding of the flag and the taps and the rifle salute.
Okay.
So for those people that were interred at the Prescott National Cemetery the previous month, we do group honors once a month. Actually, the cemetery does. Group honors once a month for those people that did not receive military honors.
Okay.
So we do military honors for them as a group.
And you do the flag line for that as well?
We do the flag line for that. And the American Legion Post 6 Honor Guard is there with the rifle volley and bugle.
Okay.
And the National Guard is there to present the flag.
Okay. All right. So that's the group honors. That answers that really well. Okay. Because I see you send that out at least once a month, kind of reminding PGR members that, hey, or volunteers, that this is the date and the time and location for that. Okay. So that's group honors. So I'll make sure to mention those in the future as well.
And then maybe slowing down between now and April or May.
Okay.
Because Prescott National Cemetery is full.
Oh. Well, now what do we do?
They're in the process. It started earlier this fall, early fall. They're building a new line of columbariums.
Okay.
And construction isn't supposed to be completed until April.
Okay. Wow.
So there's no interments because there's no place to inter them.
Wow.
People can either choose to wait until April or go to Phoenix, National Cemetery in Phoenix, or the State Veterans Cemetery in Belmont.
Oh. I'm a little surprised to hear a cemetery filled up. You'd think you'd know it was going to be happening and you'd add on before that would happen.
Well, it's the federal government. There's a process they have to go through.
Right.
Getting funding.
Paper.
We all know about funding.
We paperwork needs to be done.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about is that you guys have actually done escorts through the state. And
Yes.
I haven't seen too many of those from you over the years, but a few, but those sound like it's quite an endeavor and quite an organized route to be taking with all the folks that you have involved with this. So tell me a little bit about that and how that works.
Okay, our ability to provide escorts for funerals is dependent primarily on us getting enough of our road guards available. Right now in northern Arizona, we have 3 certified road guards. All 3 are out of Prescott. In order to do an escort, we have to get road guards to help us from Phoenix.
Okay.
From Phoenix to help us.
So there's some special training in this in terms of stopping traffic.
It's about a 6 to 9 month process of training.
Okay.
Then after you finish the training, once the PGR training as a road guard, then we submit your name to the Maricopa County Sheriff's Department, who certifies you, then you become state certified.
Okay. And so then you get called upon to do these sort of things.
Yeah.
So,
if you see a motorcycle out there with red and blue lights and sirens and wearing a yellow vest that says military escort, those are certified road guards that are authorized by state law to direct traffic, stop traffic, and control traffic.
And that's happened. I mean, you guys travel down I-40 on a regular basis. You've done this down I-40.
Not a regular basis,
17.
but a couple times
You've
a
had
year.
a few though.
We've done a few from Cottonwood and Camp Verde, escorted the cremains from up here down to the Phoenix National Cemetery.
Okay, all right. And I've seen some too. We were talking off camera too there that if someone's from California, say, and the remains are going to New Mexico, California will bring them to the line, and then you guys pick up there, take them across the state, and then New Mexico picks up in New Mexico, and so on and so forth as far as it has to go.
Yeah, and we call those Pony Express missions, and we've done them from California all the way to Georgia.
Okay.
All the way across country.
Wow.
And each state PGR will pick up the cremains of the deceased, escort them to their state line, and then the PGR in that state will escort them to the next state line.
Wow, phenomenal. Okay. Website again is azpgr.org. To get right a hold of John directly is prescottbikers@hotmail.com. Stick around, Countywide, back in just a couple minutes.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Being prepared is a part of who you are, but it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you go in an emergency. Build a kit with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a few minutes left of the program. Patriot Guard Riders Assistant State Captain John Moffitt in studio today. I've known John for 20 years or so, at least 20 years since I've been doing this. You were City of Prescott attorney?
For 16 years.
16 years, yeah. And now he's just been enjoying retirement in the PGR. Yeah.
Working more and making less.
I know, right? But, you know, you look great. You look great, and you sound like you're having a good time, and you're doing a good thing, so that's fantastic. So the website, again, is azpgr.org. All the information you need there is there. Now, if you want to get a hold of John, you want to become a member of the PGR, again, it's not going to cost you anything. You don't have to show up if you don't want to, but...
No meetings.
It's encouraged that you show up and show your respects and help out with the flag line. Yeah, most definitely. And then, anybody else listening right now or watching, me, if I've got time and you've got something coming up at, say, 1 o'clock in the afternoon here in Cottonwood, and I happen to be down here, I could just drive over there and stay on the flag line.
Yeah. And again, your station is really good about getting the word out.
Yeah.
But if you find there's a flag line, or we call it a mission, but if there's a mission in your area and you want to come, you don't have to be a member to come and be on the flag line.
Right.
Feel free to come, and we'll give you a flag to hold, and we supply the flags.
Show respect.
You just supply the person.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's as simple as that. You guys usually have water too on the hot days as well.
Yeah.
But people should bring, of course, the appropriate clothing and water and stuff like that on the hot days.
We have water.
Okay. All right. So there you go. Do you guys do anything else during the year? I mean, this is a big deal right here, but is there anything else in the year that you need help with throughout the year?
There's also a Hoth Hometown Heroes program, which is part of the PGR.
Okay.
And they're more active in Phoenix than they are, Phoenix and Tucson, than they are in northern Arizona. The Hoth program helps out veterans that need assistance. But the American Legion chapters up here and posts are pretty active doing that, as are the VFWs.
Okay.
So we haven't really been active in Hoth in northern Arizona.
Okay.
But that's another facet of what the PGR does.
All right. So if you ever want to get on a flag line and show your respects to a veteran or first responder. First responders too. Again, if you're first law enforcement,
police, fire, EMS.
Police, fire, EMS. Yeah. If you're a spouse and your loved one has died,
get a hold of me, and
you can do it. You do a flag line there too. PrescottBikers@hotmail.com. Website is azpgr.org. John, good to see you.
It's always fun. It was a pleasure to be here.
All right, so I guess we'll have you back in a couple of years again. Okay. And we'll do a refresher course.
I'll just be a little grayer, that's all.
That's okay. That's all right. No problem. All right, that's today's Countywide. Thanks so much for watching and listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.